Ha 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 ha. Guess who's back? After 1 week off, we're back, man. Just a Fan Podcast. We are back. And better than ever. Thank you for watching us again. I know y'all missed us. We miss y'all too. Trust us, okay? Let's go ahead and get these introductions going. Coach Williams, the NFL Encyclopedia, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this offense. Just want to let y'all know, starting next Monday, we'll be covering our division by division talk. It'll be 8 weeks straight. We'll be starting off with the NFC North. Okay. That direction, panel 316, the good guy with the black hat. What's up, man?
I can't call it, but I'm kind of upset we had the week off last week. Because I'm thinking about it, it's like the mantra was no days off. We don't have an off season on Just a Fan Podcast, but I understand it's Memorial Day. People want to eat their ribs. People want to barbecue. People want to remember the sacrifices of the soldiers that died in service for this country. So I'm cool with that. But I'm ready to get back in it.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to get back in it too, man.
Yeah.
And
we got we got some stuff to talk that's going down. Like
man, we got some news. We got some news that happened since the last time we've been on. Former NFL cornerback Ronald Darby has retired. PG County football player that went to Potomac High School. He has retired from the NFL, but a bigger name that has retired from the NFL. Offensive center Frank Ragnow, who played for the Detroit Lions. Now, he was a top 3, at worst top 5 center in the league, along with guys like Tyler Linderbaum for the Ravens, and Creed Humphrey for the Chiefs. Oh, hold on, real quick. Let me before we get on to that. Let me do a rewind and play. Real quick, this is a viewer's choice show, guys. If y'all have any questions, any NFL questions, please feel free to ask us. This is a viewer's choice show. So go ahead and start typing your questions in now, and we will get to those in a minute.
We are fielding any questions having to do with the NFL. Any sensible questions. Let me say that.
Sensible questions, yes.
Questions having to do with the NFL.
Yeah, don't ask if Jalen Tolbert is the best wide receiver of all time. No. Don't do that.
No. Yeah, we don't.
We don't do that. No.
But
now, if y'all want to sit here and ask, hey, who do you think might win MVP this year or Defensive Rookie of the Year? Yeah, we'll answer those kind of questions. But please don't be sitting and naming some 7-string offensive tackle talking about some is he going to the Pro Bowl this year?
That type of stuff.
Right. By the way, Donald, what's up?
What's up, Donald Ray?
And Eric
James. Oh, since Eric James just came up, let me go ahead and say this. Next week, we're starting our week-by-week, division-by-division breakdown with our predictions for the upcoming season in the NFL. Next week, we're starting with the NFC South, Falcons, Panthers, Buccaneers, and the Who Dat Nation, the Saints. Eric James is going to be a guest representing the Saints next week. If you are a Falcons, Buccaneers, or Panthers fan, and you'd like to be on this show for next week, let us know in the comments or when we go off the air, hit us up in our inbox because, Eric did a fantastic and masterful job the last 2 years he's been on. We want him back. Of course, that's the reason why he's back, because he know what he's talking about. But we like to also have, some counterpoints going on in there. Well, the rest of the fellas, we just sit back and we moderate. Also, if you're not a fan of any of the teams in the NFC South and you'd like to be a guest for one of the other divisions, let us know. We're still looking for guests. The entire AFC West is wide open. So anybody who like to be to represent any of the teams in the AFC West coming up later, let us know. The NFC West is open except for the Niners, because we all know that Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals don't really have real fans. Okay, let's get back to it.
All right. So anyway, we did say so. I did mention that Frank Ragnow has retired from the NFL at 29 years old.
Wow.
And the crazy thing is, I look at it. Here's a guy that waited till June 2nd to announce his retirement, and
you're taking my point. That's why I was going to go. Go ahead.
But it's not even. But it's not just that though. The Lions knew too that he was contemplating this. Okay,
that's my point.
3 offensive centers were available on free agent.
That's my point.
You missed the draft.
That's my point.
2 centers went within your division, Vikings and Bears.
That's my point.
Another one went to the Jets. And you are a Detroit Lions team that came off a fantastic season. You came up short in the playoffs, short of expectations. But this is on top of losing 7 coaches to other teams, including both coordinators and a defensive line coach. And I still think, all that is crucial. I almost got to say Detroit Lions probably going to take a step back. Of course, we're going to be covering NFC North, so we'll dig into how we feel like, if they're going to be first, second, or third place. But you got to think this is going to really take us. This team's going to really take a step back. Eric, how do you feel about this, man? Frank Ragnow retiring June 2nd.
Now, we don't know what his personal stuff is, and that's cool because everybody goes through stuff. There may be issues with physical things with injuries. It may be something psychological, maybe something personal that he may not want to disclose, and all of that's fine. But this didn't come up yesterday. This didn't come up last week. You knew that you were thinking about and contemplating retirement. 4-time Pro Bowl center, mind you. 4-time. This ain't no okie doke. Just, hey man, I'm just hiking the ball to the quarterback and I hope that I can block this one technique that's breathing down my neck. 4-time Pro Bowl center. That man can ball. That means he is integral
and
to the success of his team.
And he's 3-time second team All-Pro.
There you go. So you got 3-time All-Pro. And look, this is how I look at it. If you All-Pro, whether it's first team or second team, if you All-Pro, you All-Pro. I don't care.
I agree.
First team, second team stuff don't even mean nothing to me.
I agree.
If you on one of them 2 lists, you All-Pro.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So, but 4-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, that means you were integral to the success of your team. Now, again, we don't know what your personal stuff is and all this stuff like that. But here's my issue. You knew this was coming up. You knew you was contemplating it. You should have put a buzz in your coach's ear saying, hey, man, I don't know if I'm going to be back. I'm not sure. I might be back. I may not. I'm really thinking about it. I'm really weighing my options here. At least, we got a saying off the air. We say, like, I can't say what that means, but let a ninja know. That's what it means. Yeah.
Well, in this case, let your team know.
Let your team know. Let your coach know. So it should have been let a coach know. That's what it should have been. And this is not the first time that this has happened in the NFL. I've seen this happen. This dude waited till the draft passed when they could have drafted his replacement. And guess what? Like you said, Brandon, Two of their rival teams in that division drafted centers.
No, they signed centers.
They signed centers.
Minnesota, Chicago.
Okay, signed. But that takes me to my next point, free agency. They could have, hey, let's go get a center. Let's go get the best available center in free agency. Because realistically, very, very seldomly can you find someone who can come in day one as a rookie and play center in the NFL. Because playing center, for those of y'all who don't know, playing center is in the NFL and some college programs, depending on how advanced the offense is. But playing center in the NFL is almost like you the quarterback of the offensive line. You have to call protections. We got to slide this way, slide that way, all that stuff like that. You have to know what you're looking at. You have to be able to have that ball, you down the 3-point stance with that ball, and be able to read that defense and call protection. Hey, 54 is the mic. I know the quarterbacks do it most of the time, but the center's got to be able to do that too. So very rarely do you see a rookie come in and play center and do it at a high level in the NFL. And I'm just like, again, whatever his issue is, and like I said, this ain't the first time to have Alex Mack. Remember Alex Mack?
I remember Alex Mack used to play for you guys, play for the Falcons and a couple other teams.
He did the same damn thing to the 49ers. He waited till after the draft, waited till after free agency, and then said, hey, man, I'm out. What the hell you mean you out? You could have told us something. We could have made some moves. That's how I be feeling right now if I was a coaching staff. It's not that he retired. That's not the issue. It's the fact that you just left your team hanging. You left your coaching staff hanging. You left your teammates hanging. Because center, a lot of people don't give center credit that it deserves. Center is so important to the offensive line. The left tackle get all the money, but the center is so important.
Very important.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, how you gonna do that, man? That's foul. That's foul. And like I said, don't know what your issue is. That's not the point I'm bringing up. But let your coaches know. Let your franchise know. I'm contemplating retirement. Any company that you go to, if you tell them you contemplating retirement, you got all your years in a row, they're going to already start looking for your replacement. Now, it's still your job until you decide to lay it down, but they're going to be looking for your replacement. They're going to probably hire your replacement while you thinking about it. Even if you come back, they're going to have your replacement waiting in the wings.
Mm-hmm.
Any good company does that. And you can bet, I'm about to say something I can't say, but you can definitely bet in the NFL, all the NFL franchises would do something like that. They're like, oh, okay, so you thinking about it? All right, so let's go ahead and draft your replacement. Now he's 29, so I know they didn't see that coming. Now, most NFL franchises, if you got a guy that's in his 30s, he's still playing at a pretty high level, but he's in his 30s. He's getting long in the tooth. Most of your good NFL franchises, they already have drafted or signed your replacement when they know you're getting long in the tooth. Prime example, I give all credit to the Green Bay Packers for this. They knew Brett Favre was on his way out. What they do? They drafted Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years and waited. And it was fortuitous for Aaron Rodgers, and it was fortuitous for the Packers. They drafted his replacement before they needed it. Guess what? They knew Aaron Rodgers was on his way out in Green Bay. What'd they do? Draft Jordan Love.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love sat, 2 years, I believe? I think it was 2.
2 or 3 years, one of the other.
Don't let me lie. It was either 2 or 3 years. And now the Packers are still a viable contender because of that. But that's my point, ladies and gentlemen at home. You get your replacement before you need it. But if the team has no inclination that you're going to go anywhere, at 29 is still spring chicken in offensive lineman years. Think about it. The oldest guys that play the longest in the league are your offensive linemen and usually your specialists. Because offensive linemen, man, we've had 40-year-old offensive linemen still playing pretty good.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So 29 is spring chicken years for offensive line. So yeah, man, he kind of blindsided them with that. And I'm just like, wow. Now if something comes out later, because this is fresh news. If something that comes out later where, hey, he let the team know way ahead of time and they just didn't do nothing, then it's on the team. Then it's on Campbell. Then it's on the GM. That's their fault then. But if he didn't say anything, which right now that's what it's looking like, that's foul, man. You left your teammates hanging, you left your coach hanging, you left your franchise hanging.
And the thing is too, like they drafted 2 guards, but different from playing guard and center, because center you got to be able to snap and block a 0 nose tackle, line up, head up in front of you. That's not easy to do. That's not easy to do. So, and then now I heard he had some chronic knee injuries that he just, he toughed it out the last couple of years, and I guess he just couldn't do it anymore.
Now that right there, if that was the issue, and again, we don't know for sure, but if that was the issue, I can see that. But again, say something. Say something to you, the people that's closest to you within the franchise. Hey man, look, my knees really bugging me, dog. I don't know how much longer I can do this. That's all he got to say. It ain't gotta be, hey, I'm thinking about retirement. That's all he got to say is, hey, I don't, my knees ain't acting right. I don't know how much longer I can do this. That is a red flag. That is a train horn. Hey, look, it's time to go ahead and get this guy's replacement. Even if he can tough it out and play a couple more years. Go ahead and get this guy's replacement. Have him waiting in the wings. Because guess what? A rookie contract is 4 years. We'll have a new kid ready to play it in year 3 and 4. Decide if we want to keep him after that. So, yeah, man. Let's move on.
All right. So before we get into the next big piece of news, we have a couple of good questions here.
All right, let's get it.
First one is from Eric James. Do you really think the Travis Hunter effect is going to carry over to the NFL game? Now, Eric, we have addressed this question before now, but I think you've been busy, so we're going to address it for you again. I think what you're trying to ask is him playing wide receiver and corner full-time both ways. And first let me say this. Yes, there's a first time for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Am I expecting this to happen? No.
Mm-mm.
And we've been on record with an agreement with this. And we also been in agreement in how it really should be done. We think that he should be a full-time corner.
He's a better corner than he is a receiver.
And a package receiver. But him also being a package receiver requires you to add some more players offensively, because there's no need for him to be a package receiver if he's the only good receiver on the team. Now, they got Brian Thomas, who's a rookie from last year.
So, who's really good.
Yeah, and so they grow together, but you still need more at the end of the day. And so, because like let's say he was like in Philadelphia, okay, you got AJ Brown, you got Devontae Smith, you got Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts can run, you got Dallas Goedert tight end. If he was a full-time corner in Philadelphia, but package receiver in Philadelphia, it'd be a lot easier on him because everybody else be trying to focus on the other players I just named, and he'll just have his one-on-one opportunities. Mm-hmm. But if he's out there by himself, and I'm not saying he's by himself, but just, everybody's going to focus more so on him. So, again, let me say this. And I'm going to say that I said it just now, 2 minutes ago. Yes, there's a first time for everything. And if it is, I will be on the show and say, hey, I was wrong. Okay? But I'm not expecting it to happen.
And we're talking about a 17-game season here. Okay?
That could potentially go to 18 eventually.
Potentially going to 18 before his career's over. And they trying to be a playoff team, which without tipping my hand, I think they can potentially be a playoff team. They still not winning the division, but you're asking a lot for a human being to do that. As exemplary of a player as he is, uh, to piggyback on what Brandon said, you you can bring him in on receiver packages, and I pray to God that Liam Cohen has the common sense to actually say, "Hey, you're a corner. We're gonna bring you in on certain packages." And that's what we gonna do. We gonna split it, Travis ATN out wide, and we gonna have Brian Thomas out wide. We gonna put you in the slot, or we gonna have another receiver out there. We gonna put, then we'll have another back in the backfield, something to that effect, where it confuses and befuddles the defense to the point where they're like, okay, wait, okay, timeout. Wait, we're not ready for this look. You know, that's what needs to happen. But him, it's not realistic for him to go out there and play a full game at corner and receiver. Play a full game at corner and a few plays at receiver, sure. Play receiver, which again, I think he's a better corner than receiver. And I'm seldom wrong about defensive backs. When I look at film, I'm seldom wrong about defensive backs. I think he's a better corner than he is a receiver. But he can play receiver full time and come in on the dime package, which again, you're really wasting him if you bring him on dime packages and quarter packages and stuff like that. Like, no, he is a bona fide clamps corner. He can't develop into. I'm not saying that's what he is day one in the NFL, but he can develop into that. And it just wouldn't make sense. So, but to answer your question, Eric, I think personally, when you said the effect, I think leaning toward more players wanting to do that type of thing. I think that's gonna be a thing in the future, provided their coaches let them do it in college. We see it all the time in high school, but that's high school. Every blue moon we see it in college, but I think you're gonna see it start happening more because there are gonna be some phenomenal athletes that are gonna come along that can do both, and they may be able to do that for the majority of a college game for a 12-game season. But the NFL is a different animal. Thank you for that question. That was outstanding.
All right. Next question from Donald. Do y'all think the moves? Huh?
No, I was going to read it, but go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Do y'all think the moves that Texas made so far on the offensive line, rookies and vets, free agents, are going to be better with what they have? And do you think Caserio still going to go after more free agent or trades this year?
Let me start with this one because you started. Okay. First of all, yeah, I think they did an outstanding job. People are sleeping on the Texans. Oh, they let all this talent go and they let such leave. Okay. Believe that if you want to, that they're gonna take a step back. No, actually, they just got better. Their defense is monstrous and it's gonna get better. And all they need is an adequate offensive line for CJ Stroud. And they just went out and got two big targets to go along with Nico Collins, who has emerged to be an alpha dog receiver. Tank Dell probably won't even play this year. And they're not even worried about it. Like, hey, take your time, just rest. You come on back next season. We're going to win another division after this one. No, I think the Texans on the driver's seat in their division. I think they're going to be a good team again this year. I think they're going to be a better team. And Nick Caserio was masterful this offseason with a lot of the moves that they made. DeMeco Ryans deserves credit too. And the people that are sleeping, I just feel like they don't know what they're talking about. And again, the Texans will be the best NFL team in Texas this year. Mark it.
All right. So I'm sure that when the Houston Texans season was over with, they knew from continuously looking at film that they had to get rid of their offensive line. They had to retool their offensive line.
Mhm.
That's why they made the moves that they made. And before free agency started getting active, they started looking around the league and seeing who could possibly be available via either trade or free agency, and said, "Look, we need to study these guys and bring in the best and see how we can upgrade." And I know losing, I know trading Lerman Thompson to Washington sounds difficult, but I feel like you traded him for a reason. Okay, some you don't just trade a left tackle for no reason, and especially one.
The last team that did that was Washington at the time, Redskins, and it was like, what the hell? But he wanted to be gone. That was the difference. He wanted to be gone.
Yeah, well, and plus, Snyder doesn't know how to take care of football players, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but so they traded him for a reason, and I know I'm going to come off topic real quick, but Washington could possibly look bad for that trade. We'll find out, but that's a strong possibility. It could work, but it also could fail because I think Houston traded him for a reason. But anyway, going back to Houston, yeah, their offensive line got upgraded. Could they make any more moves? I mean, I guess it just depends on how they feel about their starting five and who's available. But it's rare to find a good offensive lineman available in free agency or available for trade this time of the year. I think the biggest name or one of the biggest names should be Jedrick Willis, who used to play for the Cleveland Browns. He's a 26-year-old left tackle, former first-round pick. I'm trying to figure out why he's still a free agent. It's got to be something about him that's keeping teams away from him. Because like I said, you talking about former first-round pick that's 26 years old, left tackle as a free agent. No one's picked him up. Something is going on.
There's something going on, definitely for people not to be trying to move on that. When you see teams kind of balk at a player and you look at that player's pedigree and they're like, why is he not on the team? Prime example, that's like if you see a woman on a dating profile and she's gorgeous, you're like, wait a minute, how is she single? That means she probably crazy. she'll probably have a rabbit boiling on your stove or something like that. That, and I don't mean in like, hey, I'm finna make rabbit stew. I'm talking about like, yeah, that when you have a player with that type of pedigree and they fool around there and nobody's touching them, it's like there's definitely some red flags going on. There's red flag action. So questions that need answering.
Definitely question the answer. But yeah, I think Houston is probably fine with the way the offense line is. Could they add some swing guys? We'll see. We'll see.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Because you don't want to lose a guy and then you're back to where you was last year. So your team was just too good to not trying to improve it so that way you can still be competitive. Because that conference, not the division, but that conference is very competitive.
The AFC is the dominant conference. Do you remember back in the 90s when the NFC would just laugh at the AFC?
Because Dallas and San Francisco was dominating like crazy. Listen,
you can't do that no more. And don't forget, Green Bay was like not too far behind that.
Listen. From like 1980 to about 1996, it was NFC because you had Dallas and San Francisco. Like I said, Green Bay wasn't too far behind. Washington went to 4 different Super Bowls in that time frame. The Giants went to won 2 Super Bowls. I mean, the NFC was lights out, man. They were lights out, and there was nothing anybody could do.
I mean, like you said, we talk about Dallas and San Francisco. Hey, Titus, what's up?
What's up, Titus?
We talk about Dallas and San Francisco during that period, which they were the big dogs. They was 1 and 2, and they switched places every now and then. But you can't forget about your Green Bays at that time. You can't forget about your New York Giants at that time.
And the old Washington Redskins.
And the Washington Redskins at that time because they won a Super Bowl during that time span.
They won 3 Super Bowls from between 80 and 96.
Well, I was still talking about the 90s mainly. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
if you want to go back that far, yeah. So like the NFC was like, when yeah, we the best team in the AFC, and the NFC just giggling. All right, come on, bring it. We finna tear your tail up.
Mm-hmm.
But now, to your point, now the AFC is the dominant conference in the NFL right now. The best teams are in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know people might push back and say, well, the NFC just won a Super Bowl. Yeah. But I mean, go back and look over the last few years, who's won those Super Bowls? What conference?
Mainly the AFC.
Mainly the AFC.
Because outside of Philadelphia, you got to go back to Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. So the AFC, not to get on a tangent here, but you got to be strong in this era's AFC, and Houston is one of those teams that's on the rise. People still gonna talk about the Chiefs. People still gonna talk about Buffalo. They're still gonna talk about Baltimore.
Yep.
But I think a solid number 4 team in that conference right now is probably Houston. They're the more put together team. And again, not to tip my hand, we start talking about conferences, divisions and everything. But we don't do power rankings here that much till the season really gets going. But in just the AFC conference, based on the moves they've done this season and what they're bringing back, I like the Houston Texans as probably the 4th best team in that conference.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right, let's get another one. This is rolling good. Keep them coming. This is the viewer's choice for those of y'all who might just be tuning in. This is the viewer's choice show. We do this once a year. Anybody can come in. You tune in to us on YouTube. Go in the comment box, ask any NFL related question, and we're just fielding random questions about the NFL.
Also, if you have questions on the Facebook side, you can also still post them, and we'll still see them, and we'll still respond. The YouTube people won't be able to see your questions until I click on something. But if you're on Facebook side too, ask a good NFL question, and we'll respond to it. Okay.
We love to hear your questions. So definitely. Oh, my man Eric James is back again. Which quarterback competition is the closest at this point in the offseason? Well, we still in shorts and t-shirts. We'll know when training camp comes around. That's the short answer. Brandon,
which teams have quarterback competition right now?
The Browns.
Oh yeah, the Browns do.
The Saints.
Yeah.
The Steelers.
I'm not talking about Pittsburgh. No. Because no.
That is a competition. What do you?
I understand, but I'm not. No.
The Steelers, they just upset me. They've lowered themselves to just.
Dude,
yeah, I'm so disappointed in that franchise because that's not the type of things that franchise does.
You disappointed. I think you bringing up. Hey, listen. I think you bringing up Pittsburgh almost gave me PTSD like Jason Garrett does. Ain't no way in the world you.
And you still sitting around with your hat in your hand talking about, please, Mr. Rodgers, come play football for us. And Aaron Rodgers playing in their face. And they still begging. They know he's playing in their face, they still begging.
This is why. And I gotta give Aaron Glenn credit because Aaron Glenn paid attention. He paid attention to Bill Parcells. If you are thinking about retirement, then you are already retired. And he got rid of Aaron Rodgers. He let that guy go. He was not afraid. And he brought in somebody else. Okay? I'm not saying Justin Fields is going to be a world beater or anything like that. But
we at least know he's going to be there.
Yeah. So
I bet they OTA started this past Friday. I bet you Justin Fields was there. All right.
Hey.
Your presence is the present.
Listen, I know it's key card work to get in the building.
Hello. So like Aaron Rodgers right now is playing in people's face, and like I don't want to. We can go on a rant about Aaron Rodgers. He playing in people's face because it's like, oh, everybody want me, so I'm gonna just. Well, I think I'm gonna come back. Well, no, I'm not. Well, I think I'm gonna come back. Well, no, I'm not. Is almost on the level of the Brett Favre retiring, retiring,
Oh, that
unretiring.
was ridiculous, man. Oh my
It's
god.
not quite that
You know
far.
what? You know what? You know what? This is what I need to do. I need to put Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre in a 2x2 room, close the door, lock it, no
2x2.
windows, no windows, turn the lights off, and y'all just talk to each other.
Hey man, there are closets bigger than 2x2s.
I don't care.
My deer stand, one of my deer stands is bigger than 2x2.
I don't care. They
At
need
least
they need to
them
be in
4x4 so they have room to swing at each other.
no, you need to be in a 2x2 room, no windows, close the door, and y'all just talk to each other and just look at each other, man. Y'all two are made to be. Hey, what was that song by Mariah Carey? We belong together. Yeah, y'all belong together. Shoot,
Just neurotic, bipolar, and crazy as hell.
man. Shoot.
But again, as much as I don't like them, I got to take my hat off to the Packers. Because the Packers, they knew they saw the die cast and they was like, okay, you gonna be all right. We're gonna go ahead and draft your replacement right now.
Right now.
We see the writing on the wall. You finna start acting crazy. We're gonna go ahead and get your replacement right now.
By the way, but going back to answer the question, listen, in Cleveland, because you did mention Cleveland, Joe Flacco should be the starter. Shedeur Sanders should be number 2. Matter of fact, I heard Shedeur Sanders has been looking good at OTAs. I know it's OTAs,
I heard the same thing,
but he's been looking good. So, I think eventually he'll be number 2 quarterback, and then I think after the season, or maybe even halfway through the season, Flacco will be on the bench. Shedeur Sanders will be the starter, and he's gonna light up the league. And I really pray to God that Shedeur Sanders is a Hall of Fame quarterback, so that way, he can laugh at everybody. Going to New Orleans. We'll see what happens with that quarterback situation. Titus,
you want Tyler Shough to start because you want the highest possible draft pick that you can get.
yeah, man. They don't want Aaron Rodgers living in New Orleans. Yeah, man.
Nobody with sense want Aaron Rodgers right now.
Yeah, but I say that again, man.
Nobody with sense wants Aaron Rodgers right now.
Thank you.
5 years ago, if Aaron Rodgers was out there, oh my God, they'd have been flipping over tables and kicking indoors to get him.
And doing backflips, front flips, and cartwheels.
All that. But now, don't nobody want Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers need to go ahead and file them papers, bro. He need to do a Frank Ragnow and go ahead. Aaron Rodgers has decided to retire. Okay. What's the next topic? That's literally, I'm like, about time. It's about time. The cat has socks. But let's go to the next question, the next topic.
So we don't have a next question, but we can cover the next topic. And the next topic is a trade. Interconference trade between the Eagles and the 49ers. The Eagles have had defensive end Bryce Huff on the trade block all offseason. Now, last offseason, 2024, they gave him a 3-year contract. So they got rid of him after 1 year. They had benched him basically the last 7 games of the regular season. I don't think he even suited up for the Super Bowl. But he has been traded to the San Francisco 49ers for a mid-round pick. Okay. He doesn't cost the 49ers a lot of money this year. I think it's like $7-something million. I think
7.9.
Oh, 7.9. Okay, I was going to say 7.6. Well, you might as well just say $8 million, just to round it up. Anyway, so yes, Bryce Huff is a 49er. He's no longer an Eagle. That gives the 49ers 3 pass rushers. And as Eric said, this is one of the positions that you can never have enough of. You always need more.
I always say that about DBs, but yeah, pass rushers too.
Well, yeah, you do. And the Eagles are a team that's not afraid to say, hey, look, we made a mistake and let's move on. So, Eric, what do you think of the trade from both perspectives? I know you're 49ers fan, so.
But I'm gonna take off my fan hat for a second here, and I'm gonna actually put on my analyst hat. Okay. Honestly, it's a win-win for both teams. The Eagles get a mid-round pick. I don't think it's been released yet what pick they got. But the 49ers had a plethora of picks. They had 11 picks this season, this past draft that just passed. I think they have like 12 or 13 next year. And if you're building your team correctly, you're just going to draft a bunch of guys that's probably going to wind up on your practice squad and get poached anyway. So why not give up some of that draft capital to get a player that can be an impact right now? Now, the Eagles had a player that was basically, I ain't going to say disgruntled, but I mean, he wasn't getting playing time, not because he sucked, but he just didn't fit into Vic Fangio's scheme like they wanted him to. Plus, that front seven of Philadelphia is phenomenal.
It is. It really is.
You know, like we have people that talk about Jalen Hurts, and we have people that talk about Saquon Barkley, rightfully so. By the way, he's on the cover of Madden. But if you really want to be realistic, why did the Eagles win the Super Bowl last season? Was that defense. And if you want to go even deeper into it, that front seven. So that front seven was so stacked, it was just bottlenecked, especially along the defensive line. So they're like, okay, we got a guy. Let's see if we can get some value for him and get him out of here so he can go somewhere and play. They were doing him a favor. And they picked up a mid-round pick in the process. That defense is still going to be really, really good. And the Eagles defense is probably going to be top 5 next year. Okay? Especially with them adding Jahad Campbell at linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
But they picked up a mid-round pick. The Niners gave up a pick they didn't need. And they're paying $7.9 million this year and $5.3 next year. They got 2 years left on this guy's deal. He's only 29, I believe. Oh, I'm sorry. He'll be 28 by the start of the season. I'm sorry. Correction. He's 27. He'll be 28 after this next season. So you're talking about a young guy still in his prime as a pass rusher. He's going to be a situational pass rusher. He's not going to start, okay? He's going to be part of the NASCAR package that San Francisco puts together. That's the way they take their heaviest ends. Brandon, I know I'm preaching to the choir. I'm talking to people at home because, Brandon, you know what that is. But you're a defensive line coach. You know this. But the folks at home, what a NASCAR package is, which is what Robert Saleh likes to run a lot, is on passing downs. They take their heaviest defensive ends and put them on the interior. They take the defensive tackles off the field. So if you're like, let's say you're in 3rd and 12, they take the heaviest defensive ends and put them in the interior, and they take their lighter defensive ends and put them on the outside. So what you would be looking at with Bryce Huff now with the 49ers, it'd be Bryce Huff on one end, Nick Bosa on the other, your Yetur Gross-Matos, and the rookie Mikael Williams on the interior. And when Saleh was the defensive coordinator before in San Francisco, they ran something similar with just different personnel. You want to know who the position that Bryce Huff is taking? D Ford. He's the D Ford position, 255 hand in the ground defensive end.
God,
that's the position that he's going to play. He's going to be that situational pass rusher. If you want to go a little bit more recent, Leonard Floyd.
Yep.
That's the position he's taking. He's a little bit bigger than Leonard Floyd.
Yep.
He's got a little bit more wiggle, and he's got some more youth. So he's got better wheels. So if we're going to pay somebody, why not pay the younger guy that still got a whole lot more juice in the tank? And where did Bryce Huff play before he was in Philadelphia?
Jets under Saleh.
Hello.
Aaron Whitecott, that's the defensive line coach.
Hello. There you go. So he knows how to play in Saleh's scheme.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this is not – the people do this a whole lot, and it's crazy. Every time there's some kind of trade or contract given out, you got the talking heads on TV. Who won the trade? Who won the deal? Hey, what if I told you – I got to go Morpheus, red pill, blue pill. What if I told you that it's possible to initiate a trade and complete a trade where both sides win. It's possible. It can happen. People don't believe it, but it can happen. And it's a win for the Eagles. It's a win for the Niners. Watch this. They're not asking Bryce Huff to come in there and get double-digit sacks, which he is capable of. But they're not asking him to do that. If the 49ers can get roughly between 6 to 8 sacks from Bryce Huff,
that's a win.
That's a win. That's a win. I'm not saying they won the trade, but they came out. They came out good. You're only paying this guy less. You paying this guy less than $8 million, and you getting somewhere between 6 and 8 sacks this year, 6 and 8 sacks the next year, and then you can make a decision at the end of that second year. Hey, do we want to renew him? He's only going to be 29. Give him a short-term deal, or do we want to just move on from him and get somebody younger? Meanwhile, the Eagles defense still kicking. And they got a mid-round draft pick that the 49ers were not going to really – they were going to use it probably, but they weren't going to use – they're not going to use all those picks that they got next year because the 49ers have mastered the compensatory formula. They have their regular picks, and then they have like just a crap ton of compensatory picks every year. And that's how they build that team through the draft, and that's how they manage to stay under the cap all the time. So it's a win-win. The Eagles offloaded some of that cap space, but they took the brunt of the contract. That's why San Fran's not paying a whole lot. So, but at the end of the day, it was a win-win.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, Bryce Huff is no longer in Philadelphia. Just didn't fit for some reason. It just didn't fit with Vic Fangio. He's back with the coach he was with in New York. You got 3 good defensive ends out there, man. You do. A lot of you guys should be healthy this coming season. So I expect you guys to be able to score points and get after the quarterback, man.
It's the health. It's really the health. You know, there's a lot of people that, that say, well, again, you got the talking heads with the big red noses and the face paint on that get paid a whole lot more than we do, which we're starting to realize just because you get paid a lot don't mean you know what you're talking about. There was and we'll get more into it later, but there was a talking head that said the Rams are significantly better than the 49ers, and the 49ers won't make the playoffs in 2025. He said that. It's a dude with long hair and a big nose, and that's all I'm gonna say. He's on TV a lot.
He said, what about the 49ers?
The Rams are significantly better than the 49ers.
Wow.
Even though the Rams beat the 40, they did sweep the 49ers. There was an injury-riddled 49ers team, but watch this. They only beat them by 1 score in both games. So you mean to tell me that you're significantly better and you won by 1 score against a team that was riddled by injuries? And you're significantly better? Okay. But we'll get more into that when we start talking about when we get into our division by division breakdowns. Let's get some more questions in.
I don't see any more questions right now, guys. If y'all have any questions, man, feel free to ask. Anybody can ask questions. Don't matter who.
Oh boy, we got one. You see it?
Yeah, it's down here on the bottom.
Yeah.
Aside from Aaron Rodgers, who's the one player that needs to sit down somewhere? Eli
It's
Apple.
gonna hurt your feelings, Eric, but Taysom Hill.
Eli Apple.
Oh, we don't. Now, come on, that goes without saying.
But you're right. Hold on. You're right about Taysom Hill, man. Because listen, that dude. Hold on. Let me see something. This guy is 34 years old. He about to turn 35 before the season begins. Be honest. What has Taysom Hill done since the big contract? Which happened, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
What has he done?
other than being injured.
You talking about we need cap space. He's hogging it.
Yeah.
You paid this guy to do what? He has not changed the NFL. He hasn't changed any position as far as like revolutionizing it. Whatever hype he had, that thing is dead.
Now, let me go to another player that need to go sit down somewhere. You're gonna be like, "What?" Or Brandon, you may not be like, "What?" But there's gonna be some people that's gonna be like, "Man, you crazy." Jalen Ramsey. I'm gonna wait for the most people that's in our comment box of football savvy, but if somebody else is watching, be like, "Man, you crazy, Jalen." Unless Jalen Ramsey switches to safety, he's kind of washed that.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. I can see Jalen Ramsey playing safety, but that's about it.
That's it.
And he needs to be either more. He don't need to be a cover one safety. He needs to be a cover three safety or two high safety.
I think he's still fast enough to play two high safety. I think he's fast enough to play single high.
You think so?
Yeah, still to do that. But asking him to go out there and just now, another thing you gotta look at, I just thought about he don't tackle as good as people think he does. He's not that great of a tackler. If you're gonna be a safety, you gotta be a good tackler. So that's one, and like I said, I'm probably gonna get some flack for that. Probably not from the guys that's watching right now because they know football. But there's gonna be some folks that's gonna be like, "Oh man, you crazy, man, you tripping." And they're gonna be like, man, Taylor Rams, they got people wanting to trade for him. Everybody that makes a trade ain't smart.
Yeah, I feel like the Rams might be the front runner to trade for him,
and they can get him back. I sure want him back because that means somebody finna beat him in coverage. I love it.
Now, Eric James is saying your boy Taysom Hill is a statistical Hall of Fame player. Only player to have 10 passing, rushing, and receiving touchdowns each.
Yeah, that stat is true, but that ain't Hall of Fame stats, man. I'm sorry. That's not Hall of Fame stats. You told me, if he had, 30 or 40 of each, then we're gonna talk. If you're saying that he's been all pro this many times, then we'll have a discussion. I don't think he's ever been let me look it up. Hold on. Let's see. He's never been a Pro Bowler. He's never made all pro. Yeah, those are like big blocks that you got to overcome in order to get a Hall of Fame. Taysom Hill was a good gimmick player during his time, but that time has passed.
And it lasts about 2 or 3 years.
And it's not. Now, if he'd have been doing that, what he did for them 2 or 3 years, where he was kind of really putting New Orleans on his back, if he'd have done that for like 10 straight years, they were like, "Hey, man, yeah, he's a fringe Hall of Famer." But he only did that for 2 or 3 years. That's
exactly.
In the NFL, they call that flash in the pan.
There you go.
So, like, did he do great those 3 years? Yeah, but his time has passed. And I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think there's anybody who would say, "Yeah, Taysom Hill for the Hall of Fame." Anybody north of Louisiana would say that. So, but yeah, off the top of my head, folks that need to sit down somewhere, because that was the original. Sit down. How they did the SNL skit? Sit down somewhere.
I tell you what, man, because you know what?
Did Tyron Smith file his retirement papers?
Who?
Tyron Smith.
Yes, he did.
Okay, so he went and sat down. Okay, because
guys like Eli Apple and Taysom Hill, man, I'm gonna tell you what they are, man. They are this right here.
Trash. trash, 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 trash. I am trash.
Okay, so I'm not gonna let you do that. I can't let you do that. I can't. Taysom Hill was
Trash.
not,
Done.
I'm not.
Done. Done.
Is he
Done.
done? Yes, I agree with you.
Done.
I agree with you on the done part. But when he was good, he was very good. Eli Apple's never been good.
Okay.
That's trash.
Okay.
Taysom Hill was good for, even though it was a short period of time, he was good. Like he was a football player. Wasn't quite a quarterback, wasn't quite a tight end, wasn't quite a running back. He's just a football player. But he was good for at least a short period of time.
Well, I'll tell you what then.
Eli Apple's never been good.
Okay, well then fine. That's more stuff for Eli Apple. Well then keeping Taysom Hill on your roster deserves this kind of reaction right here. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So now
Von Miller,
Von Miller, oh my God.
36 years old. Come on.
Hey,
bro.
you know what? Let me ask you a question, man. I got a good question, man. What happened to Bradley Chubb? I know he's in Miami. What is he? Has he done anything? Because
How old he is? How old is Bradley Chubb?
Bradley Chubb is 28 years old. So yes, that's still young. I get
he's
it.
still pretty young, yeah.
But okay, yeah, he's been to the Pro Bowl a couple of times. NFL forced fumble co-leader in 2023, but I feel like he just has not really done a whole lot since he's been in the league. And he's been in the league for a while. Okay? And they put a big trade in for him. Now, okay. The last couple of years he has not been healthy. He doesn't play that many full seasons.
That's why I think he's tainted because of those injuries. I think people don't want to touch him because of those injuries. And I think we traipsing dangerously close to that B word that we don't like to use on players unless, they're absolute trash, but he might be a bust because of that.
Did he play in 2024? Because I'm not even seeing it. I don't see anything.
You have guys that are really could be good players, but you got too many injuries that are keeping them off the field, so they can't show you that, hey, I can play because I'm always sidelined.
He didn't play last year due to injury. Yeah, he's oh God.
Yeah.
He's injury prone. He's injury prone. He's IP injury prone.
Mm-hmm. And that when you start talking about injury prone guys, it's like, okay, when he playing, he good, but the next question is he playing? That's the problem.
Because I think Miami. Okay, so they gave a first and a fourth. Okay,
yeah, they got the crappy end of that deal.
And he signed a 5-year contract extension. But I'm like, and I need to see his contract because I'm like, when is Miami just going to say, hey, I'm done with this guy? Because he hasn't done anything. Yeah. He's not healthy.
That's my point, is that he
why did he give him another contract?
Because Miami be Miami. That's what my friend Juan Ramos was saying. Actually, he said something a little bit more explicit than that. Whenever I bring up the Dolphins, he's a diehard Dolphins fan, born in Miami, grew up in Miami, but
why?
Adam Thielen. Let's go to another name, Adam Thielen.
Oh, yeah, Adam Thielen sit down too. Yeah.
Sit down somewhere. He gets to sit down somewhere. Award. That was a great question. By the way,
really was.
The sit down somewhere award. I got another one. Stephon Gilmore.
Not yet.
Not yet?
Nope.
Really?
Stephon Gilmore can still hold it down as a cover 3 corner.
As long as we cover 3.
Yes.
Don't ask him to play man no more.
The only time you should have him play man is if you're going up against a big, slow receiver that runs a 4.6 or a 4.6 tight end.
I mean, George Kittle's a 4.6 tight end. You want to put Stephon Gilmore on George Kittle?
Stephon Gilmore should not go.
Sam Laporte is a 4.6 tight end. I wouldn't want Stephon Gilmore guarding Sam Laporte if I'm a defensive.
Okay, fine. Fine. Okay, don't put him in man then. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
All right, I got you. I got you. All right.
Yeah. So you got the sit down somewhere award.
But he's a cover 3 corner though. He's a cover 3 corner. I will say that.
Cover 3 corner. So would you give him a 1 year deal?
Yes.
Okay, because he's still sitting out there.
I know he is.
My money's on he's not getting picked up because the with these, which we had, we touched on a little bit, these June 1st cuts, there's still some really good guys that
are sitting out there in free agency.
Could be June 1st cuts that are gonna push everybody else down on the pecking order.
That's true.
Because you got guys like Jair Brown that could be a potential June 1st cut. Post June 1st. Let me clarify. Post June 1st. Just because somebody has not been cut yesterday or today does not mean they won't get cut later on this week. Because after June 1, there's stipulations in their contract where the team can get some more money back if they cut this person. So there are some guys who are June 1st cuts, or potential June 1st cuts, I should say, that would push the talent block down. You got guys that are free agents right now. They're like, oh, he looks pretty good. Then boom, all of these guys get released. And now these guys get pushed down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, in my opinion, I don't think Stephon Gilmore may get a deal. Because you got guys like Jamil Dean and Jair Brown that could potentially be released. So, okay, I want to get a corner for a year. You going to get Jair Alexander, you going to get Stephon Gilmore. See what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Yeah. So I don't think he's gonna get a deal, especially if some of these releases happen. I don't think. Now we can talk about some guys that we think possibly won't stay unemployed for long if they get released June 1st, because we really didn't go into that the last time we talked about June 1st, potential June 1st cuts.
Okay, so before we get into that, let's do this real quick.
You got another question?
So real quick, I don't know if you're familiar with this name, but I just want to say hi since B. Scott has said hi. Okay.
Oh, B. Scott.
Welcome to the show. Sound like you're brand new to us. Welcome. If you have any, this is a viewer's choice show. So if you have any good NFL questions, feel free to ask. And hopefully you can subscribe to us and share our content with people you know who also love football. We've been doing this for almost 4 years now. And
has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been almost 4 years, man.
God, dog.
Yeah, 4 years. I think October. So, and we're in June. So what's that? July, August, September, October. Yeah, 4 more months. Wow. Yeah. So, welcome, B. Scott, and hopefully you keep watching us in the future, and watch the rest of the show tonight. But also watch us in the future, please. Thank you.
And if you have any questions, any NFL question, no matter who the team is, whatever, ask away. So, yes, viewer's choice tonight.
Yeah, viewer's choice. And then here's a question. Should Rachaad White find his way out of Tampa Bay? Now, I think
Eric James is on fire tonight. Come on, y'all. Y'all got to catch up with Eric James because Eric James asking some good questions. Y'all, come on, people at home. Eric, that's why he's going to be on the show next week. I'm giving you your promo right now, Eric James, because Eric James is on fire. You know what? He may not be on the show next week because we may have to put him out with a fire extinguisher because he's on fire right now. I'm telling you right now, he's gonna be his ashes, a pile of ashes on the screen. Well, I think, yeah. Come on, Eric James. Go ahead, Brandon.
All right, so this running back situation. I know they got Bucky Irvin last year in the draft. And they drafted Josh Williams. Now, I don't know what round they drafted Josh Williams. I'm looking now. He's a rookie free agent. So, I don't know. I'm not a running back expert, but, I guess it just depends on what they're trying to do in Tampa Bay. Because, you can do running back by committee, but if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers feel like, because I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 5 running backs, if they feel like he's the 4th or 5th best running back right now, then yeah, I would trade him because that's somebody who you can probably get like at least a mid to late, probably about 4, 5, or 6 round pick for him. I would trade him. And my thing is, if you know how to draft, it don't matter what round you get. You want to be sensible, but you can draft a good player if you know how to draft well and develop players. So to me, trade them, get a draft pick, and keep it moving. But basically, you guys are more so a running back by committee. Even though I think Bucky Irvin, if Rashad White is out, Bucky Irvin is probably guaranteed to be the starter.
So they only are going to lose, if I'm looking at this correctly, $3.4 million in dead cap. They collect $3.4 million in dead cap if they trade or cut him post June 1st. Now, again, conventional wisdom would say to go ahead and hold on to him because we don't know if Bucky Irvin going to hold up like that. You always got to have an ace in your back pocket, but the question is, has he been disgruntled, like not wanting to be there? Or is he cool with, how things are?
And that's a good question because we don't know. We haven't heard anything. Now, of course, it's hard for us to keep up with all 32 teams because, we got daytime jobs and stuff. And we got other stuff going on. But
boy, look here. Let me tell you something. If I ever do this for a full-time job and have what them jokers have on them networks, I'm putting all of them out of business. All of us put them out. The 4 of us will put them out of business because we just some guys with phones and laptops and common sense. And our stuff is way better than some of them guys that's getting paid millions to be on TV every day with bad takes.
Hey, listen, I'm just a guy with a camera and a microphone.
That's it. Camera, microphone, and laptop. And
my phone. Listen. This is my laptop camera right here, and this is my laptop microphone. Eric has his own microphone, okay?
I hold the microphone like a grudge.
Whereas my microphone is factory built in. The camera is factory built in. I'm broke. Don't ask me. No. So anyway, but yeah. Rashad White. We'll see what happens, but running back by committee is the way to go. Who you got for offensive rookie of the year?
Ooh.
Good question.
Who asked that? That was good.
Kyle Paduda. Okay. Is this somebody else new? Do you know?
I think this is a new person. Yes. Thank you, Cal. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and tell a friend so they can subscribe too. Thank you. And that's an awesome question, by the way.
Yeah, it really is. I need to go back and look at who was drafted this year so I can give a very sensible answer to that question because I don't want to just wing it.
It was just so many. The thing is, it was just so many defensive players that kind of dominated the draft. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna be Cam Ward.
No, because Cam Ward don't have enough in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Now, Ashton Genty could look
I was
good.
about to thank you.
Ashton Genty could look real good because now, and listen, I know Eric don't like Chip Kelly, but here's my thing. Here's my thing with Chip Kelly. He's now an offensive coordinator. He's not a head coach anymore, so he's not worried about all three phases of the football and all the other operations that comes with being a head coach. He's just worried about being an offensive coordinator. And listen, you got to be smart with the Raiders because Geno Smith, you don't want him playing Superman. If you haven't played Superman, you're in trouble. Have him play point guard. Have him play point guard and just distribute the football to the right football players. And you got Ashton Genty as running back, he'll start day one, and I think he'll be successful in that system. I don't think Terrell McMillan gets offensive rookie of the year. Coastal Loveland has too much around him in Chicago to get it.
Here's an interesting name: Omarion Hampton, playing for the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh, run heavy.
I think for him to get it, well, his only competition might just be Ashton Genty. But he'll have to probably rush for 1,300 to 1,400 yards to get that.
That was an excellent question because if you look at the first round, now granted, it could be a dark horse that got drafted day 2 or day 3 that turns out to be the offensive
right.
Rookie. Never know. But we're just looking at the first round.
Yeah, because
as draft, the dominant names were defensive players. There's a lot of offensive players. You say, well, you know,
because I'm not expecting Matthew Golden because it's too many receivers in Green Bay.
It's not enough balls to go around. Pause.
Jackson Dart. I don't know how much playing time he's gonna get with the Giants. Janet Higgins, Houston. Quashawn Jenkins, Cleveland Browns. I guess he's starting in Cleveland. Trayvon Henderson, New England. I guess he's starting. Luther Burden, too much in Chicago. I just said that. Yeah, man. Eric, you brought up a good point. You brought up a good point because I'm saying the same thing you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
That
the bulk of that first round,
yeah. Even first really good 3 rounds is defense.
Yeah.
It is. You're probably looking at Ashton Genty and Eric James being silly over here talking about some Tyler Shaw. But yeah, I say the top 2 players are either Ashton Genty or Marion Hampton, based on where they went. Probably
you're talking about Pete Carroll with the Raiders. He likes to run the ball a lot.
Yeah,
and I think they took Ashton Genty because he wants to recreate what Marshawn Lynch was for them when he was in Seattle.
Yep.
I think that's what he wants to do. So,
now the difference between those two is I think Genty is just way more elusive, so he'll be doing a lot.
No, he is, but I'm saying they're gonna run the ball a lot.
Yeah, of course.
In Las Vegas, I believe, with Pete Carroll's mentality. I see them, and hell, Geno Smith's the quarterback. You don't want to, just like you said, you don't want to throw the ball that much. No, not with him. So Ashton Genty is definitely going to get the touches. No questions asked. He's going to get the touches. I don't see him not getting the touches. And
exactly.
What he does with those touches is going to determine it. But thank you again. What was his name? Cal. Thank you again, Cal. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Tell some friends about us. That was an excellent question. Yeah. Genty about to get 3. Yeah. Honestly, I can see that.
I can see it too.
I can see that. That's
it really may not be 350 carries, but it could be 350 touches.
Yeah. He gonna touch the ball a lot. I think he is. They're gonna make him the centerpiece, even though they got a really good tight end there.
They got a couple good tight ends.
I still think that they're gonna make Genty the centerpiece of that offense. I really feel like that's what it's going to be because they realize what they missed when they let Josh Jacobs walk out the building. I really think that's, so, yeah, man, again, great question. We got any more?
Not yet. Damn man, we was great. Hit a topic before I had
We were-
stopped.
Yeah, we were talking about top trade cut and trade candidates for June 1st.
Yeah. Who's gonna get cut
Cut or trade.
or
And I
traded?
think cut is more liable, but trade is possible. So at the top of the list, you gotta look at Kirk Cousins.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Kirk Cousins.
You gotta look at Kirk Cousins.
You really do. You really do. Now, from what I understand, Kirk Cousins is plan B for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I can see that. But they gotta work out something where they're gonna they're gonna have to work out something where they don't have to give up a whole lot of money. Because Kirk Cousins has an uncanny ability to fleece whatever team he gets signed to.
Doesn't he though?
Kirk Cousins, and y'all, I really want y'all to look at it because some people might say, well, Kirk Cousins, you know, he got these numbers, he got this. No, Kirk Cousins is one of the greatest fantasy football quarterbacks of all time. But when the playoffs start, he turns into a pumpkin. That's the problem. If you just interested in winning the regular season and not doing much in the all season, Kirk Cousins is your man. That's your man. But one, he's going to be expensive, and two, don't expect much out of him after week 18. That's going to be the issue. Like I've always said, Kirk Cousins is Dak Prescott with a better PR. Prove me wrong. But Kirk Cousins. So likelihood, and I know Saints fans don't like this, but possibly the Saints, and then like you said, Brandon, the Steelers they're looking at him as a backup to Aaron Rodgers. They need to go ahead and be going with their backup right now because Aaron Rodgers playing in their face. I done said it before. He playing in their face. All right. Will Levis.
What?
Will Levis.
What's so funny?
That's the joke right there. Will Levis.
Oh, you know what?
I think he gets cut.
Eric.
I think he gets cut. And I think he's going to have to, somebody going to have to get injured really bad for him to get a job. Or he could go in and be like a backup for somebody. Yo.
What did we say when he got drafted? Who was that called?
Saying much of anything, 'cause I never thought much of him to begin
Who
with.
was that said he was Kyle Bowler 2.0? Who was that? Was that you or was that Tristan?
That had to be Tristan because I didn't think much of it all when he got drafted because I wasn't very high on him to begin with.
Yeah, he said 2.0. I was like,
Yeah. So, yeah, 25 years old, journeyman quarterback. Hey, Antonio Gibson, New England. Running back.
you know what? He had promise, and I don't know what happened in New England, but yeah, he'll get cut. He needs to take vet minimum from here on out for the rest of his career.
I like his skill set.
I do too, but he needs to take vet minimum.
Shaky. Not shaky, but shifty.
Does he have fumble problem?
He can. But when the Patriots drafted Travion Henderson,
That was it.
that was it. The die was cast.
Yeah, because they still got Ramondre Stevenson. So
They still got Ramondre Stevenson. So we got a crowded backfield going on. So I think he's gonna get cut. Here's one. This is gonna blow the socks off everybody. I don't think he's going anywhere, but he's on the list. Mr. Tyreek, I have no idea what anti-contraception is. Hill.
You know what? Now I heard he lost weight
He can't afford to lose weight.
because he was, I guess, supposed to be working on his condition or diet or something. So he's down to 183.
Yeah, he can't.
And
Yeah, he needs to. That's what he can't afford to lose weight.
I'm like, okay, so you lost, so you're 183 pounds. Yes, you're fast. I get it. But if someone presses you, jam you at the line of scrimmage, because
Yeah.
you're 10 pounds lighter,
And here's the thing.
you're going to fly. And I don't
Okay.
mean run past somebody, fly. I'm talking about you're going to fly the wrong direction. They're going to push you off your route.
I do you one even better. He's closing in on 31 now. For the premier elite receivers, 31 is still pretty much in your prime. But eventually, he's going to start slowing down.
And he's a good route runner.
I've never really seen Tyreek Hill run, just have an impressive route tree because he's the fastest thing on the damn field. So most of the time, he's running 9 routes, posts, deep corners, stuff like that. He just get behind everybody, Tyreek.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. It's like,
so
at some point when you start getting slower, that stuff catches up to you.
Yeah. So that's gonna be the question. The issue at hand is, what do we, I still believe that he's gonna still wind up in Miami. He's gonna stay in Miami.
Okay.
I don't think he's going anywhere, but Miami needs to really start thinking about what they want to do moving forward. Because let me see, what is his deal? Because his deal is good. It's going to, as you know, as time goes on, those deals inflate.
It's not even just him. Like I mentioned Bradley Chubb earlier. You gave him a new contract, but he's injury prone. I'm looking at this roster, and listen. We praised the roster a couple years ago because
It was a track.
It was a track team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, so he's got like a $27.6 million cap hit this year. 27.6.
Who are the Dolphins in 2025?
Say again?
Who are the Miami Dolphins in 2025?
Who are they?
Yes.
I don't know, but stay tuned. Because Anime Dolphin will be on when we cover the AFC East, and he's going to have to explain to us. Now, here's the scary part. I just told you that this year coming, he's going to be $27.6 million richer for the Miami Dolphins. That's what kind of cap hit he's got, right? That's taking up about almost 10% of the cap. But watch this. Next year, 2026, he'll be 32 years old. You want to know what his cap hit's going to be?
What?
$51.8 million, which is 17% of the cap for a 32-year-old wide receiver.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this. You know what? I'm not saying he deserves to be fired, but I just don't see Mike McDaniel being the head coach too much longer in Miami.
Yeah. Now, he can come on back home and, I'll be happy.
Were you talking about to Atlanta?
No.
Remember, he was in Atlanta?
Where was he before Miami? What helped him get the Miami job?
You remember he was in Washington?
What helped him get the Miami job?
He was in Cleveland too.
What helped him get the Miami job?
So you talking about home? He don't really have a home.
What helped him?
I know San Francisco, but you talking about home like, dude, he's been around the league.
He's been around the league, but who has he been underneath all those times?
Kyle Shanahan.
Okay, there you go. And you know what? They had the most success offensively.
In San Francisco.
They made Jimmy Garoppolo look like he was worth something. He had the most success offensively when Mike McDaniel was calling plays. He was designing plays. So
I get it.
Yeah, because some people got to know their station. Some guys are just great coordinators, but not good head coaches. I'm just saying. So back to our list. We got off on a tangent before we Again, guy brought up again, 28-year-old Jair Alexander.
Injury prone. Next.
Yeah, but what is he getting cut?
Yeah.
Is he
Cut.
my opinion is that they probably gonna restructure his deal. He gonna stay. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Man, we got
They can save about $17 million by cutting him by June 1st. Now, the reason why he probably hadn't been cut right now is either they trying to work out a restructuring. This is just my thoughts here. This is me speculating. They're either gonna work out a restructured deal for him, or they're already on the phone trying to get something for him. Because if I'm the Packers, I don't let a player that valuable, forget the injuries. I don't let a player that valuable walk out the door and don't get anything for it. Because he walks out that door when he's cut, you don't get anything. He signs with another team, and you don't get anything for him.
That's true.
So he still has value. Oh boy, this guy, Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, we already talked about him.
I think he winds up somewhere on the west coast. So
I think it's with the Rams too.
He's either with the Rams or he's going. The Raiders. Like the Raiders are still a reclamation project. They love just trying to recycle players. They've been doing that since the beginning of time. Oh, you don't want them? We'll take them. Okay, see how that worked for you. Hadn't won a Super Bowl since 70 something. Yeah, but that's Raiders gonna Raider. So let me see. I'm sorry. Yeah, those are my top candidates right there. So we'll stop right there because there's a plethora of other guys that could potentially be cut. If you guys have been watching the UFL, do you think DC quarterback Jordan Ta'umu has the chance of? I have not been watching the UFL, Donald.
Neither have I.
So I don't have opinion. I don't want to have an opinion on something I have not watched. But I'm glad there is a UFL for the simple fact that it is literally the NFL's farm league, and some guys do get shots. They get a shot at the NFL, making an NFL roster. Most of your teams up to 90 players now, though. But we'll see what happens once the UFL season ends. If somebody's good enough to get an invite to camp, I don't think it's going to be just a mass exodus of guys going to the league. But I do think that there'll be a few. There'll be a handful. Who those guys are, I do not know because I don't watch the UFL enough. I need to. But again, we got daytime jobs. So we can't. If
Plus other stuff going on.
If y'all get our subscriber list up, we can monetize this channel, and we can live on this channel. Then yes, we will watch the UFL. We might expand it to college football. We might just take it to a whole nother level because then you'll be getting content from us every day instead of just once a week. But yeah. So who signs Keenan Allen? That's Eric James. Dog it. Eric James on fire, boy. Because you know what? That's two names. Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper, who are free agents and still can provide value to a team.
As a number 2 wide receiver.
As a number 2 wide receiver or just a placeholder. And hey, man, this guy's hurt. Hey, man, put Keenan in there. Keenan can hold it down for a few games. Amari is still a route technician. Amari is not as fast as he used to be, but his routes are still crispy as get out. He is crispy. So, yeah, got dog it, Eric James, boy, he be coming with the boy. But, yeah, what do you think, Brandon? Keenan Allen. What do you think he winds up?
I'm trying to scan as fast as possible. Listen, I think the Giants would be wise to sign him. I know they gave Darius Slayton that big contract. I'm not a fan of Slayton. I'd rather have Allen over Slayton, but that's just me.
So you're saying Allen and Malik Neighbors over Slayton and Malik Neighbors?
Yeah. Let's see. Scan, Minnesota, Detroit. I'm here with a good third receiver. I'm trying to think of the second receiver right now. He'll do good in Cleveland. San Fran Rams, Seattle. Seattle could use him.
Now let me say this about San Francisco. He could potentially go down on 1 year deal. And you know the reason why I'm saying this.
Ayuk is not healthy.
Ayuk is not ready. He won't be ready to play until much later in the I'm gonna put it like this. The ceiling is he'll be ready by the end of training camp. The floor is mid-season.
Okay.
So could he? They've been kicking the tires on some receivers. The Niners have. They invited Gabe Davis for a visit. There's rumors circulating around Amari Cooper. I think they looking for a placeholder until Ayuk is ready to go. So I'm thinking that these guys probably don't want to sign there because they probably offered him a 1 year deal. And like, hey man, we just need you for 1 year, man. Because yeah. So that could be it.
Okay. But yeah, there's some teams that can use them. We're gonna run through these last questions, and that's gonna be it. All right.
Okay.
Cal came up with another good question. Where would be the best landing spot for Arch Manning out of?
Cal coming with that fire too.
Jets, Dolphins, and Raiders.
Well, first of all, Cal, let's pump our braces. We don't know
where everybody's drafting yet.
Where everybody's drafting it. Could the Jets be the number one pick in the draft for the top 3? Yeah. I don't think the Dolphins going to be that bad to be drafting that high. I don't think so. I don't think the Raiders are going to be that bad to be drafting that high. Because if Arch does what we think Arch is going to do this season, then Arch is going to be a top 5 draft pick. Also, here's another factor to throw into this that we got to consider. Arch Manning may not come out at all. He still has 2 years of eligibility. So that's something we have to consider. But that's still a really good question.
It really is.
That was a good question. Thank you. Let's go to the next question. Who's getting Defensive Player of the Year? Oh, Defensive Player of the Year, not Defensive Rookie, but Defensive Player, correct? Okay. Man, you got so many.
That's tough.
TJ Watt's still playing at a high level.
Myles Garrett.
He probably want to put the team on his back, considering that quarterback situation in Pittsburgh. You could take any one of those guys along that defensive front for Philadelphia.
Jalen Carter, especially. Yeah. I think Jalen Carter more than anybody else in that defensive front.
Yeah, but all of them are fantastic. You still got the usual suspects like your Micah Parsons and your Nick Bosa's. You got those guys, and now that Nick Bosa's got some help, I think his numbers are going to go up. You got Aiden Hutchinson is coming back. He might get comeback player of the year. He could realistically get that. But those, and he's again usual suspects. Your TJ Watt, your Nick Bosa, your Micah Parsons, your Aiden Hutchinson, they're usual suspects.
Myles Garrett,
usual suspects. Pat Surtain, usual suspect. I think people are gonna stop throwing at Pat Surtain, honestly. Honestly, Pat Surtain is starting to get that reputation now. Oh, you can throw him in if you want. Derek Stingley. That's another one. He's getting that reputation. Hey, man, don't throw at that dude. That's not what you want.
Exactly.
That is not what you want. Don't throw over there. So Stingley and Surtain are starting to creep into that. You remember that era where we had like Rod Woodson, Deion Sanders, Darrell Green, that era cornerbacks, Eric Allen.
Yep.
We're starting to see that. You know, you got Sauce Gardner, Pat Surtain,
Derek Stingley.
Wait, who?
Derek Stingley.
Derek Stingley. Yeah, Derek Stingley. You're starting to see that group of corners kind of separate themselves like the cream from the milk.
Yep.
And it's getting to be that don't throw over there type of game with those guys. Like they're really that good, you know. But that's a broad question because there's so many. You got your usual suspects, and then there's always a dark horse. Somebody we didn't see. Somebody we ain't see coming. Like, oh man, when this dude got 15 sacks and he still got 3 weeks to play, type of stuff.
Honestly, Trey Henderson is always a dark horse, but shoot, he's always overlooked.
Trey Hendrickson constantly gets overlooked because he's on a bad defense. The dude got 17 and a half sacks 2 years ago. Then last year went and doubled down on it and got the same stat. 17 and a half sacks 2 years in a row. Now, that's a good question. We could talk about that. Are they going to trade Trey Hendrickson? Like, what's going on in Cincinnati? Because there's some teams that's like, hey, man, hey. How much money you want? Come on. Because we ain't got nothing over here. You ain't had nothing over there in Cincinnati. But they might say, well, we got more over here. So you ain't got to put the defense on your back. Because let's be honest. It was 11-on-1 in Cincinnati's defense this year. Trey Hendrickson was the defense, and he couldn't do it all. I mean, like Cincinnati's out there losing games 96-92. It's like the offense was killing, but couldn't stop nobody. So, Trey Hendrickson, I think if he got to another place, I think he could get some consideration for that. He's quietly one of the best defensive ends in the league, edge rushers in the league, but because of where he is, he doesn't get the recognition. Like I remember a couple of weeks ago, we had somebody that was a comment talking about he's old. It's like 30 is not old for an edge rusher.
I remember that comment.
Yeah, 30 is. It had to be somebody who was under 30 that said that. I'm just saying because I was still doing my thing at 30 and not playing ball, but I was still at the height of my physical fitness between that 21 to 30 range. Now when it started trailing out to 33 and 30, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. But yeah, Trey Hendrickson is still doing it at a high level, and he's got leverage over the Cincinnati Bengals because he can easily say, hey man, pay me or trade me. So next question.
All right, last one for the night. And this is going to be more so down my alley.
All right, Dallas had a good draft and a great trade for Pickens. Will Dak go back to MVP form? Will it matter against Jaden Daniels and Hurts? Will our late round picks help the interior of the D-line stop the run? I'm going to give you a short answer, cuz no. But go ahead, Brandon.
Damn. Okay.
And I'm not tipping my hand, but when we go by our division by division, yeah.
I think for Dak, this is the first time that he's going to really have a good offensive structure around him. Not just players, but structure. So I think Schottenheimer's really trying to build something there. We got to see what it looks like, though. Okay. I think Adam Pickens helps out a lot because it gives him a number 2 receiver that's going to really help out a lot. And he's going to help stretch the field because Pickens is great down the field. He's a great receiver down the field, okay?
He is. He does take the top off.
And he was catching passes from Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, and a washed-up Russell Wilson. Dak Prescott's an upgrade. Dak Prescott was second in MVP voting in 2023. People forget that. Okay? Will it matter against Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts? Listen, I've been on record saying that I just think both teams take a step back for different reasons, and I'll get into more of that when we cover the NFC East. But I do take – now, I don't know what does that mean for Dallas, but I do think both teams take a step back for different reasons. Not like I said, I mentioned that for the NFC East. Will the late round picks help that interior defensive line stop the run? Yes. You have a defensive tackle rotation because that kid J2, whatever his last name is, I'm gonna call him JT. That's a 345-pound nose tackle. Okay. And the guy who I like coming out of Maryland, Tommy, last name starts with A. He's from around here too, and he went to one of the best high schools in the state. And I think he'll help out also stopping the run as well. But another good thing that can help with your defense line stopping the run is being able to run the ball yourself and working with time of possession. And Dallas, I think, will be doing a lot more of that, like I said, with better structure because Schottenheimer has a day one install for a run game. McCarthy did not. McCarthy was just out there winging it, okay? And literally so, because he just wanted to throw the football all day long. So Dallas will be better than 7 wins from last year.
Oh, yeah.
But we just got to see what things look like before we say 100% what they're going to look like. Okay? So, but like I said, I'll have a whole lot more when we discuss NFC East, which will be the final week of us doing our 8 weeks of division by division talk. And as we're closing out, that's what we're going to finish off with. Don't forget, starting next Monday, we will be doing division by division discussions. We will cover the NFC South. Okay.
Whew.
That means Carolina, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, and Atlanta. The following week, we'll be covering the AFC South. Please tune in for all 8 for our opinions on where we're ranking these teams.
Because I will write down our picks. That's where we make our picks. I'll write down our picks for the winner of each division or how the division is going to fall. And at the end of the season, we always have a season in review show where we talk about how we made out on those picks. So that's pretty interesting. For those of you who stay with our show constantly, you know what we're talking about. And yeah, this is pretty cool. So again, if you'd like to be a guest representing your team for when we cover your division, let us know. As a matter of fact, Brandon, you had the dates in front of you, or should I read them?
Yeah. That's what I was doing.
Okay.
So, like I said, next Monday we cover the NFC South. The following Monday, on the 16th, we cover the AFC South. That means Houston, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, and Tennessee. The 23rd, go ahead.
If you'd like to be a guest, Houston is already covered, but we have Jacksonville, we have Tennessee, and we also have Indianapolis available. If you're a fan of any of those 3 teams, let us know.
23rd, NFC West. That means 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals.
We know that there aren't any real fans in Seattle or LA or Arizona. The 49ers are already covered. But even if you're a bandwagon fan, you can come on and be a guest on the show to cover one of them teams.
June 30th, AFC West. That means Raiders, Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos.
All 4 teams are open. So if you're a fan of any of those 4 teams, you guys come on. Let us know, and you can come on the show.
July 7th, NFC North, Packers, Lions, Bears, Vikings.
No, we're open for that one, aren't we? No, Packers is taken up.
Yeah, Packers. I was going to say Packers.
We have somebody for the Packers, but Bears, Lions, and Vikings are wide open. So if you'd like to represent one of those teams, let us know.
14th, AFC North. We have that means Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, and Browns. I think we're wide open there.
I think so. I don't think that we have anybody from the North. No, we have Steelers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we do. And then July 21st, we have the AFC East. That means we have Miami, Buffalo, Jets, Patriots.
We need Buffalo, Jets, and Patriots.
Yeah, we have Miami.
We have Miami.
NFC East is the final one on July 28th. That means Dallas, Washington, New York Giants, and Philadelphia. We might have Dallas with Tristan's guest. Tristan's still trying to get the Washington guest. I need to confirm with the Giants guest.
So that means we still have a spot open for an Eagles guest.
Yes.
So yeah, that has all those spots open. I think we're gonna post that on our Facebook page to let people know if you like to be a guest representing these teams. These are the dates. Please inbox us. Let us know, and we can vet you and see what you know. And if we like you, you'll be a member of the Just a Fan podcast cast for at least that day. So,
Yep.
Brandon, take us out.
All right. Thank you all for joining our show. We're closing it out. Like I said, we start our 8-week shows next Monday. So hit us up if you like to be on our show. To our 2 new guests, B and Kyle, welcome. Please hit the like button on the show, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to all so that way you know when we go live. And share this with anybody else y'all know who love football, okay? We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I don't know why I'm struggling tonight. Maybe because I'm just tired. And then you can follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and IG. And that's it. So I am Coach Williams, the NFL Encyclopedia, and the Wildcat quarterback that runs the show. That direction, Panel 316, the good guy with the black hat. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Thanks for joining us again.
Congratulations, Andrew and Alex. My nephew's graduated.
Yeah, boy. The future is bright.